I don't really see nobody stopping me. I done overcome a lot of shit. Came from the bottom to the top, and let's not forget. Hardest sparking, but the parking if they doubting it.
What's going on, YouTube world? Welcome back to TCR. Today I'm going to be doing something a little different. You guys always ask about mods, and I figured, you know what, why not? Let's do some mods together, and I can show you the process and how I come up with these mods and talk about how it's done, show you how it's done just a little bit, and if you like what you see, you can follow suit and make your own mods. So to make this quick and simple, today we'll be talking about the SIG MCX Rattler cane brake. The main purpose of this is because SIG put the same size mag on all of their models, from the Virtus to the MCX and the MPX. They are all different calibers, but the mag size is the same. The mag chamber, or the look of it is different. However, the mag is still the same, and it kind of takes away from the realism and the overall aesthetics of the look. So I bought these mag sleeves from Amazon. They're rubber. They don't just directly fit, so I'm going to do some things to make it work, to make it fit. To show you real quick, I already used my DPMS as a template, so I could cut and make it fit the exact dimensions of the AR platform and how far it would actually go. This is the second mag that came in the package, or mag sleeve, and that already looks pretty good. I really like the look of it. However, it does not fit this mag perfectly, so I had to trim it, and we're going to adhere the two together. What I'm going to be doing is adhering the two together. I'm going to use a bit of foam filler to fill the gap in the void to give it a little more sturdiness. And then we will also cut where the mag, where the door is, where you access the belt magazine, or on the inners for the belt. So we'll be cutting that and getting that sized up right and making sure that everything looks tight. So anyway, as you can see, that dramatically changes the effect and the overall appearance, and that's what we want. So let's get to that. First thing I'm going to be using is this DAP Rapid Fuse. I already opened it, but we'll get to that. We're going to use this to bind the two together first. Okay, the reason we're doing that is because we want to have the actual, we want it placed where it's going to be placed so it does not move. And then we're going to use some foam filler, fill the gaps, and then we're going to use something to press it together so that it doesn't overexpand. And anything that comes out, the excess, you can just cut off with a razor blade, and then from there you're pretty much there. I mean, the only thing you have to do, if you want, is paint to match the inside so that you don't have any of this yellow foam stuff filling or showing. And there you go. We're going to have a nice aftermarket magazine that looks realistic, looks the part, fits the bill. So let's get started with that. First thing we're going to do is we're going to tack down one side first. We're going to tack down one side. Let's see, do we have to take off any seals or anything? Nope, it's ready to go. So let's put a little, not too much, but let's put a liberal amount on this. Nothing that's going to protrude too much, but we do want it on these first two sides pretty good. You don't need to go too far up, but we do want it to adhere. And then make sure you get this back side. Don't go up beyond where you cut. There's no purpose in that. Now, let's put the cap back on. This might end up a pretty long video, but you guys will truly understand after. So let's get the two mixed up or let's bind the two surfaces together and get that left side. Oh yeah, it's already binding pretty good. The only reason I'm doing the foam filler is because of this. You see that where it flippy flops, and I don't want that. I want to eliminate that automatically. So already that's tacking on pretty good. Okay. Now the front actually isn't even reaching the glue, but that's okay. We just want the sides to get pretty adhered together so that we can continue on to the next side. Now, feels pretty good already. Maybe we'll leave it for a minute, but honestly, this stuff is very good. I recommend this for most projects. It's a few bucks. It's only like $6-7 depending on where you buy it, but that stuff works and is very durable. All right, now let's go ahead and take this out. Now this is one of the tricky parts, and that's where we're going to make sure that we get this cut properly so that we can still utilize the door for the magazine, because without that it'd be kind of ridiculous. So first thing we're gonna do, I like to just eyeball things, so I'll be right back. Go get a razor. Okay, we are back with the razor blade. Make sure you guys are being careful in any of this process. We do not want to, have any injuries, but the razor should, once you get it in there, take you right to the point where you need to go. If you end up going over, you know what? It's okay. It's not going to kill you. It's not going to kill the look, because once you glue it all together, you should be fine. Then it's just, like I said, you just let the razor do the work. Especially if you have a sharp razor, you should be just fine. Now, see that? Now we have access to the door. I don't know how I ended up with glue on this side, but let's go ahead and take that off. A little bit of excess glue. That's okay. Sucks, but that's okay. Looks like we could have used a little more measuring, but you know what? It's because of the flex of the rubber. We'll just take a little bit of excess off. It's fine. The whole purpose is to keep with the realism. That's what I want. I want realism. I don't know if you guys can hear me, but realism is my theme. I love realism. So now we have that. We can go ahead and tack this one to this part. Now you don't want to go excessive with this one, because you don't want it adhering to something that you don't want it adhering to. So just put a little bit on, enough for it to adhere to. Make sure you got the right side facing up, and tack it down. Make sure it's all measured together. No big deal there. Usually you have to hold it for about 30 seconds or so. I'll time lapse you, don't worry. Okay, now that that's tacked, see that? We can still access our door, and everything still closes like regular. Slightly. Let's get that out of the way. You can see where there's a little bit of binding. So we'll take that little bit of excess out. Just a little bit. efficient right there. Okay, I'm sure that I got that now. All right, so far we have the door access. It's not exactly perfect, but once I get everything else tacked down and get this all tacked together, it should be fine. You won't even notice. It's on there. So let's just go ahead and tack that on good. It is on there. And you know what? I don't feel like cleaning up residue, so let's just get it on there. That is pretty bound together, and it is already pretty sturdy. Now let's see how it looks like in the mag. Okay, locks in. We may have to trim up a little bit, but for the most part, we'll clean it up later. You can see the dramatic change in the look. Fingers on the trigger, excuse me for that. But you can see the difference in the look already. And we'll get this pulled and everything right where it wants. But you can't even really see that access point right there. This will all get cleaned up later. But for the most part, let me see, make sure you guys can see. Anyway, here we are. That's just the first part. Now it's time for foam. So there you go. See that? Full size mag. Oh, looks fantastic. This foam stuff is pretty interesting to work with, and I promise you don't want to get it on you or get it all over your place. So make sure you get you clean or covered location so you don't get it everywhere. I have a couple pieces of wood that I'm going to be using to keep everything nice and compact, because the foam will expand. So I'm going to use this 2 pieces of wood and some weight, and then we're gonna fill it up. Not too much, okay? So just enough. See that? Let's get some of that excess off of there. You don't want to get it everywhere, but I damn sure want to make sure I get it in the bottom. Let's get that excess off before we go up in here in the front. All right, you're starting to see it cannoli a little bit. Let's take this bad boy off. Yeah. See that? Look at how quick that is expanded. Now, don't worry about excess. You can take that off. It's not a big deal. It is a little bit to deal with, but I promise you this. You'll be able to trim and get rid of what you're not using. And all this stuff off, anything else you can sandpaper off of yourself. All right, let's get this excess off. I'm gonna put this on here and something to weight it down. This can should work just fine. All the excess will come out and we'll have a finished product soon. Get back to you. Okay, now we're back. Everything should be dried. I gave it a little bit of time to dry. Put a little more weight on there just to keep everything down. And let's see what we have. All right. Now, as expected, it stuck to the board a little bit. Like I said, you'll have a little cannoli action going on. Anyway, you see that? We're just going to remove this excess. Take this excess off. Excess. Okay, it appears that it's not quite dry. And you know what? It's not a problem. It's not a problem for me. That means we can remove some things. Now, it's still not dry. We may just leave it to dry till tomorrow. Come back to it, see what we have. But let's grab this bad boy right here. It's not going to mess with anything that wise. So, let's see. Regardless, this is the look that we're going to have. Once we're done, I'll do a follow-up video for you guys. Pretty much, it's almost done. It's still drying a little bit, but, I mean, you get the main idea of it. And there you go. You get you a full-size Dropout magazine, the full look of it, and it just looks fucking excellent. So there you go. You guys have a great day. I'll get back to you, and we'll do a follow-up. Thanks for tuning in to Tactical CO2 Replicas. We'll talk to you later.
I don't really see nobody stopping me. I done overcame a lot of shit. Came from the bottom to the top, and that's off it gets. Hardest sparking, better park it if they doubting it. I done been the realest with the wordplay. Been the illest with